going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise, and today we got to talk about Debbie Wasserman Schultz embarrassing herself on CNN. She was asked a very simple question: why do voters see the Democrat Party as a deer in the headlights party? And instead of answering the question, she dodged, deflected, and basically proved their point. This wasn't a trick question. It was honest voter feedback, but Debbie, she couldn't handle it. And if this is their best messenger, the Democrat Party is in big trouble. And I'm 100% here for it, man. You guys do realize they're spending $20 million to try to figure out how to speak to young men. You can't make this stuff up. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let's go.
Our friends over at the New York Times are doing a series periodically looking into the Democratic Party and the challenges facing the Democrats as you try to run into the next election with some kind of momentum. Shane Goldmacher, among others, is doing this research, and he talks about in an article over the weekend a focus group led by a longtime Democratic researcher who asked some 250 people to describe or compare each party to an animal. And I want to read you what this found. Republicans are seen as apex predators like lions, tigers, and sharks, beasts that take what they want when they want it. Democrats are typically tagged as tortoises, slugs, or sloths, slow, plodding, passive. And then a little bit later, there was a respondee who said the Democrats are like a deer in headlights. How is it that you think that the Democratic Party has earned these descriptions?
John, I'm not focused on the animals that some New York Times reporter compares the political parties to. My constituents are human beings, and the human beings that I represent are facing devastating healthcare cuts, the most significant healthcare cuts that have been ever handed down by any administration. Almost 14 million people will lose their Medicaid coverage. Many hundreds of thousands more when you add the cuts to the Affordable Care Act. I represent the state that has the largest Affordable Care Act every single year. These are folks who they can get their health care insurance covered because of the Affordable Care Act, because of Medicaid. And as someone who knows that when you don't have your health, you don't have anything, I know how vital that is. So I'm focused on the humans I represent, not, animal comparisons.
I will tell you, it was the voters who were making the comparison with animals, and this was a focus group. It wasn't the New York Times reporter coming up with these labels. This was a Democratic-led focus group to try to figure out perceptions of the parties.
Don, you said they were asked to compare the parties, so they were prompted to compare the parties to animals. That is ridiculous. I've watched a lot of focus groups, and I know that the people that I represent want me fighting for the humans, the families that I represent. They don't want Republicans transferring, more and more wealth to many more billionaires. They want to make sure that, like what Democrats did under Joe Biden, under a Democratic majority, we ensured that we cut taxes for the middle class, folks who put that money right back into the economy when they buy refrigerators with the windfall and other kinds of kinds of expenses. We made sure that we reduced prescription drug prices. We started to bring chip manufacturing back home. We passed the largest infrastructure and investment act in history. And now those jobs we're seeing come to fruition with rebuilding our infrastructure. That's what people want their government to do for them. They don't want a lawless dictator of a president who hires anti-Semites and who then acts like he's trying to fight to protect the Jewish community. The hypocrisy in this administration is appalling.
Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, thank you so much for talking with us this morning. Appreciate it.
This lady is full of sugar honey iced tea. She is. When confronted with the New York Times report highlighting that the voters compared the Democrat Party to sloths and deers in the headlights, Schultz deflected, stating that she's focused on human beings, not animal analogies. But here's the issue here, man. These animal comparisons weren't concocted by journalists. They came directly from the voters in over 200 focus groups conducted by Democratic strategists. This happened. Participants described Democrats as slow, passive, and lacking assertiveness, while Republicans were likened to lions and sharks. This isn't just about metaphors. It's about perception. A recent Fox poll, news poll, indicated that only 41% of voters view the Democratic Party favorably, marking a historic low. And we've seen, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks back, the favorability was in the 30%, somewhere around that range. Even among previous supporters, there's a sentiment that the party has become disconnected and overly focused on elite concerns. This lady talked about, how they were, trying to, or Trump's trying to transfer power, to the wealthy. But isn't that what happened over the past 4 years? Most people don't have money in the stock market, but the elites do. These people are always talking about the oligarchy, but they fail to realize, or maybe they do know, and they just trying to gaslight us. They are the oligarchy. That is them. Now, this lady, her response exemplifies the party's broader issues, a reluctance to engage with genuine voter concern. Instead of addressing feedback, there's a tendency to revert to rehearsed talking points. This approach, it not only alienates voters, but it also reinforces the very perceptions the party aims to dispel. In an era where, authenticity and responsiveness and transparency are paramount, the Democrat Party must introspect and realign with the electorate's priorities. They won't, though. Ignoring feedback won't change perceptions, and addressing them, head on, it will, but we know that they won't. I mean, again, these people are preparing to spend $20 million to figure out how to speak to men, how to speak to young men. It's ridiculous.
Let me save the folks from the Times and all the other great, print outlets some time. If you dig in on what Democrats are researching right now, you're going to find a lot of silly stuff. You're going to find people asking a lot of questions, people asking about syntax and do I drop the G from this word and this and that, and it's going to be a lot of that. So let me just warn everybody, that process is going to be very obnoxious for this 40-something. I would also say, we're really talking about young men, right? Young men who Democrats have not figured out a consistent pitch for how to get in front of. And I think it starts with authenticity.
Okay, it's being reported that the Democratic Party is looking to spend $20 million learning how to speak to male voters. And this is why we lose. That's $20 million down the drain. You want to win male voters? Just speak to men like people. Stop demonizing them and articulate policies of how we make life better, how we make the job market better, how we make the housing market better, how we take care of healthcare and make lives for their family better. We don't need to spend $20 million to figure out a problem that we know the answer to. But once again, it's the mismanagement of resources. It's the belief that if we just throw money at a problem, we'll rehab our image with voters. Our image is bad with voters right now, is voters don't believe that we care about the issues they care about. We can win in 2026, we can win in 2028, but this type of thinking, throwing $20 million down the drain, man, this is bad form, and I'm a Democrat.
Yeah, it is bad form, but y'all keep doing what you do because, hey, that's all they know. And their party, I mean, it's so divisive and it's so divided that this $20 million, it is a waste. People appreciate President Trump because of his realness, his authenticity. What you see is what you get, whether he's out, in the Pacific, Northwest, or, if he's up in Wisconsin, he's up in PA, he's down south. What you see is what you get. You don't get somebody code switching or changing their accent because they're in Atlanta now. You know what I'm saying? And then they go up to, Chicago. You don't get that. You don't get that. The people, and especially men, we want people that keep it real. You ain't got to play in our faces. You ain't got to try to act like you're something that you're not. And really and truly, we don't care about any of that. All we care about is your policies, and do your policies solve these issues that we have in our communities. We want to be able to provide for our families. We want to be able to protect our families. We want to be able to make sure that our children can go to school and not be indoctrinated with this far left woke agenda. Simple as that. We want to be able to go to work. We want jobs. We don't want to have to compete with illegal immigrants. We want our wives and daughters and aunts and mothers and grandmothers to be able to go out and not fear being attacked, by illegal immigrants or just by people that have committed crime after crime, but they keep getting slaps on the wrists. See, the problem with the Democrats, man, their policies, they harm people. Their policies are reckless. Their policies are dangerous. Defund the police, how'd that work out? we're getting rid of bond and we're just going to let people out 2, 3, 4 times, even after they've committed multiple acts of violence. Just let them out so they can do it again. How's that working out? These illegal immigrants, they open the border up. They allow 21 million people to just flow across the daggone border. And they've come through and they're just running roughshod, committing all types of heinous acts all around the country. How's that working out for them? Now, you know, they were talking about in California, they want to get rid of grades. A F is now a C. A C is now an A. So they don't want to educate the population anymore. They want a population of illiterate zombies that will just do whatever they tell them to do. And the reality of it is this. Young men are rejecting the agenda of the Democrat Party. And honestly, there's a ton of women. You can't tell, you know, almost half the country that just being a man or just being male is toxic. Just that, just your being is toxic. That's not going to work out. It also doesn't fare well when your party pushes people that are a part of the alphabet community over strong heterosexual men. When you demonize Christianity, when you tell, you know, people in the country, you tell men the most dangerous people in the country is a white Christian man or heterosexual man, that's not going to work. We don't want to hear it. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section, though. Like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Support the channel financially. Join the ARP family, or you can buy your man a coffee. Link in the description box below. Join us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, for ARP in the morning. One of the livest chats, one of the best chats in all of YouTube. Come check us out. If it's your first time, let me know so we can show you some love in the chat. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.